Hi, I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of Regalytics, and here's your update on this week's 17,352 alerts. Yeah, that's 10,000 more alerts than last week's volume, and I love it. The regulator of the week is the FTC. They're doing it, folks. They're moving to ban all non-compete contracts. And to that end, the FTC has taken legal action this week against 3 companies and 2 individuals, forcing them to drop non-compete restrictions that they imposed on thousands of workers. Finally, the FTC settled with Epic Games for unfair or deceptive acts associated with chargeback rights, meaning making it confusing or hard for customers to understand what they're being charged. This is in addition to Epic Games' big fine for children's privacy a couple weeks ago, and this one is $254 million of a fine. The topic of the week is the metaverse, a growing area of regulatory interest. The CME announced plans to launch 3 new metaverse reference rates. They're not tradable futures products, but they are designed to meet the growing need for transparent, regulated, and round-the-clock pricing on this growing industry. And it wouldn't be a discussion about the metaverse if there wasn't a meta fine in there. The Justice Department announced an agreement with Meta Platforms, formerly known as Facebook, forcing their advertising algorithm to better comply with the Fair Housing Act. This will prevent Meta from using protected characteristics in designing algorithms to sell housing related to advertising. Like I always say, if you annoy the regulators, they can annoy you in so many more ways than you possibly imagined. And they do smell blood in the water. So yes, let's talk about it. The New York Department of Financial Services fined Coinbase $50 million this week for AML KYC failures. But if you think that's all Coinbase is up against, you are so wrong. If this goes the way of BlockFi, woohoo! BlockFi is now managing inquiries from over 51 regulators, and that all came out of a finding from the New Jersey Bureau of Securities. And then we get to TikTok. I mean, it started with South Dakota, which was led by a MAGA governor in November, and now it includes 14 governors banning TikTok for being onboarded to any government device, 1 governor recommending the agencies not onboard it, and then 3 bills on the table to ban it. And that's 17 different states, including, as of this week, New Jersey. Similarly, the woke states continue being woke. The New Hampshire House proposed a bill establishing greenhouse gas emission reduction goals for the state. The California Racial and Identity Profiling Advisory Board announced the release of its annual report on policing in California. The report contains an analysis of the millions of vehicle and pedestrian stops conducted in 2021 by 58 law enforcement agencies in California. Sadly, people who were perceived as black were searched 2.2 times the rate of people perceived as white, which is about 6,000 more blacks than whites. And those perceived to be black adolescents between 15 to 17 years old were searched at nearly 6 times the rate of those perceived as white youth. The New York Senate introduced a bill for certain companies to report data in regards to the gender, race, and ethnicity of their employees. They also introduced a bill to establish the Climate Corporate Accountability Act, which would require certain businesses to disclose emissions annually. And my favorite, in fact, the New York State Senate almost made my Regulator of the Week cut, because they proposed a bill that will allow voters to take selfies of themselves and their ballot while in a privacy booth and to share and disseminate such photographs on social media. So that's it this week for Regalytics. I will see you next week.